So for Ethiopian food, we're going to make berbere, which is a staple spice paste in Ethiopian cooking. This combines some whole spices, some ground spices, and some shallot actually, garlic and ginger. And for whole spices, I'll put the amounts in the description. The amounts are 2 shallots, 4 garlic cloves, 2 tablespoons of ginger, 12 cardamom pods, a tablespoon of cumin seed, a tablespoon salt, 2 tablespoons paprika, 1 tablespoon cayenne, 1 teaspoon black peppercorns, 1 teaspoon turmeric, 1 teaspoon fenugreek, and 1 teaspoon whole allspice berries, 6 whole cloves, and a 1/3 cup of red pepper flakes. But we have black pepper, we have allspice, we have cumin seed, and we have cardamom pods, 12 of them, and 6 whole cloves. So I've got my whole spices here, and I'm going to sweat those in a pan first, and then grind them up with the pepper flakes, and mix those in with our powdered spices. And so we'll get to that. And then this all just gets mashed together in a mortar and pestle. The problem with using a blender for this is that there's not really any liquid component to this. So it's not going to move around in a blender well. I think if you had the right type of blender, you might be able to work it in a blender, but this is just takes elbow grease this way. So I'm going into a dry pan on a kind of a medium-low heat, and I'm just going to put my whole spices in here until they begin to get aromatic.
So those pans do not sit well on
And then the thing with the cardamom pods is before they go into the spice grinder, you have to take the seeds out of the pods. So we'll do all that, and we'll come back once these have done something. Okay, so this is really aromatic. You can see a little smoke coming off it. I'm going to put this in a bowl and let it cool before I go any further. And then we're going to use the same pan for our onion and garlic. And this begins with Niter Kibbeh. I think that might be how you pronounce it. All right, so I have a couple tablespoons of Niter Kibbeh in my pan. And it's an Ethiopian spiced butter or ghee. When I make ghee, this is the recipe I use. So we actually have a video already of making this. And into this I have 2 shallots chopped up, 5 garlic cloves all chopped up, and I'm just going to cook this a little bit on kind of a low heat. I don't really want to change the color of this, I just want to soften it a little. And once this is softened a little, I will add about 2 tablespoons of grated ginger. And this will be all of our wet ingredients. Here's my ginger. So we'll come back when this is all done. All right, I think this is softened up enough. I'll put my ginger in here, and I'm just going to let this cool down a little before I try and do anything else with it. And I'm going to go to taking these seeds out of my cardamom pods. And it's a little tedious, but not too bad. Once you get them open, they fall right out. So. All right, so if you have a spice grinder, I have all these whole spices with my cardamom seeds and everything. And I also have 1/3 cup of red pepper flakes, and I'm going to grind all this together. And if you don't well, if you don't plug it in, it doesn't work. Now, if you don't have a spice grinder, you can do this part of the mortar and pestle as well. But we really want to get this ground pretty fine. Well, that looks good.
That's a nice grinder.
Yeah, it is a nice grinder. So now we want to mix this with our ground spices. And I think the easiest way to do it is just to put this all right in this grinder. Now there's a lot of, this is a very spicy spice mix. There's, what do we have? We have both cayenne and smoked paprika. There's like 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, a tablespoon of cayenne, and there's black pepper in here. Okay, so that should mix it. Now we're gonna go into our mortar and pestle.
See how nice that mixed up and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put about half of it. Well, it looks like this is all gonna fit in here. But let's start with about half of our onion and some of our spice. And we'll see what this does. This is going to be kind of a stiff paste to move around. But here, what we did.
Yeah, I was gonna
See if we can get some light on the subject.
There we go. Oh, here, I can hold that probably.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so
Oops.
you see it's still pretty juicy, but we haven't added nearly all of our spices yet.
I'm trying to figure out where to put this to.
And we do need to grind up the onions a bit. I'm gonna add some more spice here. And then we'll add the rest of our onions, garlic and ginger.
It's really got a good smell to it. And I can't smell things very well, so got a lot going on.
So this is a flavor. Both this and the Niter Kibbeh, the butter, are flavors used in just about every dish that I've seen so far in Ethiopian cooking. Ethiopia is a fascinating little country. It's very mountainous in North Africa. The Blue Nile, which is one of the 2 main branches of the Nile, originates in Ethiopia. The main stem of the Nile, I think that's the White Nile, I could be wrong, originates in Lake Victoria down near Congo and Uganda. And in the spring, there's a lot of snow melt involved, and these 2 rivers create the annual floods that made the Nile Delta so fertile and such a hot spot for civilization long, long ago. And then recently, well, Ethiopia has been having a lot of civil unrest with Eritrea to the north. And they have also decided to build a large dam on the Blue Nile, which should be, I think it was completed recently, or it's about to be completed or something. There's lots of controversy over that project, especially from people downstream.
It's tricky.
Yeah, so this is getting very stiff now, and it's, you know, this mortar and pestle is just barely big enough to handle this. But
It's kind of a small
pretty much got my
bowl, so
product here. Now this can be refrigerated for a long, long time without anything bad happening to it. Let's scrape this up and see if it's incorporated in well enough. Oh yeah, I think I'm seeing what I need to see here. I believe we've got our bearberry paste. I see a few pieces of onion that could have been smaller, but I don't know if I'm gonna get them smaller in this device.
that's the corner of the counter that squeaks.
Yeah, we'll take care of that soon. Okay, I think I'm gonna call that good. This is enough bearberry to make Ethiopian meals for
Years?
a long time.
So spicy.
It is spicy.
I think it's.
You don't use very much of this.
I'm a wimp too.
I have seen a recipe that calls for like 4 tablespoons, but that's actually a lot. So. Okay. And there is our bearberry spice. And thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen. We will be making a lot more of this Ethiopian meal on video, including the Injera. So watch for that.
Ooh, gotcha.
Subscribe. Woo.
Easy for you to say.
Subscribe to our channel, and we put out a new video every Tuesday. And thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.